Unfortunate we don't have diversity in the panel. But yeah, please come up with, thought of diversity as far as topic is concerned. Right? Ready? So we'll start from the right side. Dr. Pawan? Okay, sir, you can start.
Yeah, good evening to all. મને ખાખરા ઢોકળા થેપલા હાંડવું બધું જ ભાવે અને અત્યારે એટલે અમદાવાદમાં છું કે ટેબલ પર છીએ કે ટેબલ પર નથી, ટેબલ પર જવાના છે કે ટેબલ પર જવાના નથી, એ ડિસ્કશન છે. મજા આવશે. લેટ્સ હેવ અ real good discussion. Let's have a lot of questions coming from youngsters. And I'm going to retire in 11 months. I'll be 60 and looking forward as to what youngsters think nowadays.
Sir, since you are going to retire, जितना आपका भड़ास है ना आज निकाल दो. with due respect to company as well. Okay. Yes, Kshitij.
Thank you everyone for finding time for the session today. So I'll introduce myself because I think most of our esteemed panel, you guys would already know. So I'm a process strategist for Keka. What I do is I design great solutions, I design the solutions for the organizations and I make sure that the organizations are able to onboard the HR technology in an effective manner. Now most of the times this depends upon prepping your people, right? So a decade of my journey in this space has I've served close to like 3,000 customers across the globe. And I'll try to bring in these. Yeah, so, right, I'll try to bring the same side of intelligence onto the table here with the panelists. So that would be all.
Hello. Hi everyone, I am Ankit Dudhwala and I run Software Suggest. We are a software discovery and recommendation platform. We are probably India's largest software discovery and recommendation platform. I think today's topic is very interesting. We are talking about HR finding a place at the business table. I think HR already has a place at the business table. At least for software companies, I don't think HR and business are separable or two different things. But let's see how the discussion goes.
Hi everyone, good evening. Kem cho? Majama. Very nice. So good evening. First of all, thank you for coming here. I congratulate the Keka team for the wonderful funding that they've got. Amazing for an startup, HR startup in India to get this kind of funding. I think there's another competitor of theirs that turned unicorn. And again, congratulations to Keka, again an HRMS software from India and building for the world. So congratulations. I am Dr. Pawan. I head HR at Vinculum Solutions. We are a product SaaS company, typically enabling e-commerce. And we help brands, e-tailers, retailers, sellers sell anywhere faster. Okay, so we are enabling omni-channel or omni-channel experience for brands, distributors, brand distributors, e-tailers, etc. I wish to learn a lot from you and share somewhat of what I have done in my career. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yes, let's give a big round of applause to Keka again for, one of the biggest funding. Yeah. And we need more players like Keka. How many of you do not know Keka before introduction or didn't know Keka before introduction? Raise your hand. Oh, so Keka, a lot of homework for you. Please ensure, you people reach out to. How many of you have a Keka HRMS in your company? Wow. How many of you looking for Keka HRMS? Okay, on lighter note, that is a sales pitch. Huh? Great. And so yes, you already said, HR already has a place. How much it is secure, I don't know. Right? So okay, before I throw the question, let me tell you, did anyone attend today's webinar which happened 3 to 5 p.m.? So that was the webinar which was on HRMS awareness session. There were 12 HRMS player, and that was also supported by KEKA. The webinar which was on HRMS awareness session was also supported by KEKA. So thanks KEKA team, playing a major role in HR Shaper growth and journey. So let me directly ask the question to Bhanu sir. Bhanu, why HR fail to make the decision making? Okay, as far as table is concerned, boardroom is concerned, leadership is concerned, is it perception, or do you think they are not able to actually, they get the place but they are not able to perform there?
So my view is like 36 years of service, and started with Bharat Petroleum, then to jewelry, Reliance, both the Reliance, and then right now in Ultratech, Aditya Birla Group. It all depends, what do you want? So once one of my manager told me, it's up to you to decide you want to be on stage or you want to be in audience. Similarly, it's up to you as HR, you want to be on the table or off the table or outside the boardroom also. To be in and on the table, I'll share some small secret. What requires for you to be on table is very, very simple, but very difficult to get it done. I have been always on the table, and I have seen through it to see that when I get an opportunity to be on table, maybe it starts with safety in Ultratech. Safety. So I operated most of the plants in Bharat Petroleum refinery, where the safety is prominent, of great importance. So if you have that knowledge and then you give suggestions, give valuable inputs, influence the board, then they'll allow you to speak. Not being on the table is important. Being on the table and adding value to the table, to the business. And it always happens is that whether you have a credibility to be there, whether you have capability to be there, whether you have competency to be there, if you have these three things with you, and you have analytical mindset, and you are giving data to people, which is evidence-based, then only you can be there. Otherwise, being there also, you will not be there. I sometimes feel, I can take more time, right? I always feel, and I ask this question most of the time to HR fraternity, when somebody like CEO says, my attrition is going high, find out some engagement solution. I always see people coming out with engagement means what? Rangoli competition? Poster competition? ગરબા કરાવી નાખીએ આપણે તો અમદાવાદમાં હોય તો એટલે એવું લાગે કે we are engaging people. I mean, it's not engagement. We have employee value proposition in Aditya Birla Group, and that is how you develop careers of people. When you are developing career of people, those people only will come to the board and they'll respect you because you have made this career. How you giving learnings to them? L&D આપણે કરીએ છીએ, we are proponents of L&D. Are we giving them the latest learning so they themselves in the board do something better? Are we in the current time where the mental wellness is so much important? People in the board are stressed out. Where they will go for engagement? Are you doing something enough for them to be mindful, to be stress-free, and having a good mental health?
and how you are going to do things where you reward, recognize people at that level and all level. When I said these four things, these are the four EVP pillars of ABG, crafted well. And I don't mind taking name of Dr. Santrup Mishra, who has done this very well in Aditya Birla Group. Hats off to that guy. He is continuously looking forward to see that the Aditya Birla Group remains the value-based company. Like take for instance the KEKA. KEKA is the IT solution. I would request you to go through my LinkedIn profile and see as to whether I have slogged hard and got the IT qualification also. I'm a SAP 5.0 professional, a consultant in that fashion. So when you are sitting there on the table, are you adding value to the business? And are you proposing something for the bottom line, for the top line? And are you thinking about the customers along with the employee? And employee to have a behavior where the employee brings back the customer again and again and again and again. The way Ashish is doing for KEKA right now, moving around India in that fashion. So that's what I think. It's all about credibility. Guys, garba to karavi le supachi bhi. And we can always have a drawing and poster competition. But that's not going to take you to the table. It may take you to the table, but it will not make you speak with authenticity. That's what I think.
Yeah, thanks, Bhanu sir. Let's find out how many of you want to be CEO. Raise your hand. Okay, less than 5%. How many of you know business? How many of you want to be CHRO? Everyone. Okay, great. Okay, can you really become a CHRO? Now nobody is raising a hand. So yeah, there are a lot of gap in terms of thought process, perception, and reality, right? Okay, and when you deal with the leadership, when you deal with the boardroom, there is a different thing. One need to decide whether do you really want to be there, and when you are there in boardroom, believe me, anything and everything comes, huh? Anything and everything. It's not like this is only HR I will take, correct? Yeah, a business guy is laughing. I will come to you, Ankit, for a different question. Let me go to Dr. Pawan. So Dr. Pawan, tell me how many times HR has really shaped the business? More towards productivity, more towards improvement, and this is making really huge difference. HR is really taking a place and, become recognized,
Thank you. So, in a way, crucial question, I would say. Over my journey at Vinculum, while this question was put to me, I'm reminded of three different instances. Okay, and I'll share those instances with you where HR strategy or HR could play a definite role or add value to the business, as Bhanuji also said. The first is the concepts or the basics of org design or the org structure. Okay, now what I mean by that is, let me give you some background. So at Vinculum, we started some time back. When we started, we were doing software projects for Aditya Birla Group, Future Group, in the supply chain domain, etc., building custom projects or softwares for them. In 2012, there was this idea, why don't we productize, right? Why don't we make a product out of the offering? Why don't we standardize it and then sell it on a SaaS model? But our org was still, designed on the principles of a services organization. Okay, so in a typical services organization, you have, project teams. So there are projects and there are teams that are built for the project. So we had different sets of customers. Okay, there were enterprise level customers who would pay us, some X amount of money. There would be, medium or, professional customers who would pay us a certain amount. And then there were say, express customers in our terminology, he would pay us $100 a month or $200 a month. So because the services mindset was there, for each of those projects or products, there was a separate implementation team, there was a separate product team, there was a separate testing engineering team. So what used to happen is every team was doing the same thing, but 3 times. Okay, which means the product was the same, but because enterprise implementation or enterprise product demanded certain features and certain level of implementation, there was a separate team put in place. For professional, it was separate. So we had a headcount of almost 3x, right? So that is when we realized that, org structurally, the design principles are not in place, and we'll have to break these silos. Okay, that is where as HR, we redefined the structure and brought everything under one umbrella. So implementation, one implementation team will do implementations of customers across. Of course, there would be dedicated people within those teams who would do enterprise implementations or professional. Okay, so principles of org design and structure are very important. And as an organization evolves, the structure also will have to enable the functions to deliver better. So what we realized was our efficiency shot up. Because earlier we had more people doing same revenue, now we had smaller number of people doing same or even more revenue. Plus, the silos had, completely gone. So there was greater bonhomie within the teams. There was greater understanding. The communication flow was better. So that was the first instance, right, where HR, we redesigned the structure of the organization and, helped the business. The second, which I'm, again reminded of is during the COVID times, 2020 actually was you can say, a key event for Vinculum because everybody started selling online, everybody started shopping online. Okay, so that was a great moment for Vinculum as a company because brands which were only offline were now also willing or more determined to sell online, right? And that is where our product also comes in. There, our sales team was, not catering to the requirements of the business, right? So Bhanuji said, as HR, it is very important that we understand the business, we understand the business matrix, what drives our business, right? What are those key enablers for the business? So then what we did was, instead of having a geography spread, which means Southeast Asia a different team, Middle East a different team, we did category wise. Okay, what I mean by that is instead of having separate teams for countries, we said fashion and lifestyle, a team will drive across the globe, right? Health and beauty. So these are the segments we cater to. So again, from the org structure design perspective, very important. In 2021, what did we see? Anybody? HR folks, I'm sure you would be knowing, great resignations, right? There was a phase of great resignations. And now, it's a phase of great layoffs. So everywhere you see, there are layoffs, right? So that was bound to happen. But what we saw was, it is important for us to rethink our HR strategy when it comes to talent. Okay, so we thought that, instead of people leaving us and then a lateral hiring taking a lot of time, and then business getting impacted, right? Because we said business is all about people. We redefined or redeveloped our strategy wherein we said we'll get fresh talent from good B schools, good tech schools, and we'll have dedicated L&D programs and internship programs for them, wherein we'll train them during the course of 6 months to be enabled to know our product and deliver our product. And that has given us good results. Cost has come down because the lateral hire were earlier for 10 lakhs, were asking 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 35 lakhs. There was, there was no limit, right? Obscene, totally obscene. A Java guy with 2 years, 3 years experience was asking 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs. I have 2 offers, I have 3 offers, right? So HR then has to step in, right? We can't be saying, okay, take 30 lakhs. Will you be joining? Will you not be joining? Please join us, right? So we said nothing of that sort. We will bring in fresh talent who are hungry to learn, who are hungry to, deliver. And that brought down the cost overall. Also, like Ashish was saying, a lot of diversity in terms of young folks, middle-aged folks. So, HR has to think business, okay? And then you'll have to think how, as HR leaders, you have to strategize and make changes to enable business success.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doctor. Like organization, design, restructure, diversity, reskill, upskill, all these are point up. But let me ask, let's do some ground level reality check. Do you think business need HR to increase the productivity? Raise your hand. Oh, we have a very matured audience, huh? They want to help business. Okay, so great. Let me come to now business guy. So Ankit, what is the future of HR? You are hearing from HR leader, look at the HR community, the great expectation. They are very optimistic. They think they are helping business. Business need HR. Let me ask you now, what is the future of HR and how do you see HR today?
So personally, I am very HR positive. So most of my answers are going to be towards HR. But
He's
But-
talking to HR, so he has to say this, huh?
yes, of course, I know my audience well. So to answer that question, I will ask how many of you have read Philip Kotler? I'm sure anyone who has done MBA or has done BBA must have read Philip Kotler. And for those who don't know, Philip Kotler is the most popular marketing guru ever born. He had defined 4 P's of marketing, and there is a very popular sentence which Philip Kotler had written. What Philip Kotler says is that marketing is the most important function of any organization. So what I see as the future of HR is 3 years down the line, you will see on the first page of Philip Kotler's book that forget marketing, forget sales. HR, if you are running a software company, HR is the most important function. So that is what I think is going to be the future of HR. The second thing is, this is a trend which I'm seeing globally, happening globally, not in India, but I think in the next 3-4 years, it will start happening in India. In India, we consider HR and payroll as similar function. We consider that HR teams are supposed to process payroll, and the primary function of HR people are to process payroll. But if you look at things globally, HR and payroll are considered as completely different functions. So payroll is not HR's job. And I see that in the next 3 to 5 years, similar things will happen in India. HR job will move from processing payroll to empowering people. Now HR is more of a input. They are supposed to monitor inputs. Eventually, in the next 3-5 years, you will see that HR is monitoring outputs. HR is more in a policing role now. You will see that they move to a coaching role and a mentoring role. So yeah, that's how I think HR is going to move in the next 3-5 years. Thank you.
So how many of you do process payroll in your organization? So you're not HR, huh? Okay, that's again lighter note. Okay, so thanks, business, HR sharing. Now let me come to expert. Expert who's in touch with the industry, who knows HR more than HR actually, right? Who knows HR processes more than HR. That's what I keep saying, this HRMS guy knows HR more than HR people. You know why? No, they know the inside of HR. They know all the HR policies, good, bad, or better, Plus, they know where is the problem and who is going to fix them. Correct? So believe me, they know HR more than HR actually, and that's true. Yeah, because you may be working for only one part of HR, but these people look into hire to retire. And when they are coming to you for XYZ knowledge, demo and all, you won't expect them to know everything, correct? So they are supposed to know everything also, right? Great. So Kshitij, question is, these are all human touch. All three, our panelists talk about the human touch. You being coming from HR technology space, product company, and HRMS space, how does really technology help as far as topic is concerned and their thought process is concerned?
Right, so to talk on this, I'll start with the basic, right? So let's look at technology, right? So what was the definition of technology when we started this? So technology was supposed to enable people, right? It was supposed to make you do things which you normally cannot, right? So when we started building this, right, we as a software fall into HR technology space, right? So that in itself explains it a lot, right? So why are we here? We are here to uplift HRs, so the processes that are being executed, right? The management techniques that are there. Most of those techniques don't fail because of HRs. They fail because of people, right? So it's just not elevating HR. It's also about elevating every single person in that in our workforce and making them understand that how really can they develop themselves and move forward, right? So to talk more on this, right? So one important thing, right? So whenever any organization starts, right, it starts with the founder itself. Now, founder has, none of the businesses today, if you look, right, they're not born with the concept of making money, right? Most of the businesses are having some greater than humanity purpose. So, that is something which I believe. Now, this vision which initially the organizations have, once you start increasing people into, and you start making, adding people into that purpose, this purpose gets pulled into n different direction, and HR is the only center which is the moderator of this pull, So we have to make sure that this entire ecosystem grows in a balanced manner, and this is where, I think technology helps a lot, right? Because, as we understand, right, if these cyclic, if you look at HR analytics as a concept itself, right? So the entire HR analytics depends upon what kind of data sources have we kept across, our organization? Have we identified the metrics in a right manner? Have we identified the primary metrics and the secondary metrics as well? Right? So all of this is possible through technology, right? So this is where I believe this technology can enable people in a lot more effective manner. And, so I'll recall one story from 2015. So this was when we started the organization, and almost, it was almost a couple of months ever we started operations. So the very first of the modules that we designed in our platform was a leave management system, right? So that was attendance and leave was something that we initially started with, and then eventually looking at it, we kind of used the data that comes from these modules, and we created more of the platform out there. So when we started developing this, right? So Vijay, our founder, he is, HR enthusiast. So he has always been committed to the HR, upliftment as a community. And he also wanted to provide a great employee experience for, the other entity that we had, right? And we had like close to 300 people working in that organization. So we tried few technologies, we failed, right? And, that's how we were born, out of frustration. So, right, so this, coming back to this story. So the summer of 2015, right? So we used to, it was a team of 10 people, right? And we used to fit in a room. And at that point of time, Vijay used to spend a lot of time with everybody in the organization. So, he used to talk about, like, let's say, whatever we are building, right? Let's look at the relevance of whatever we are designing. So leave management, it was very simple at that point of time. 2014, if somebody wanted to take a leave in the organization, they will call their manager and inform them that this is the reason, and they can just go away, right? And I'm talking about startups here, right? So basically in that, though, this was very common as a practice. Now in that phase, when we started designing this feature, one of the rigorous exercises that we have ever since maintained as an organization is to identify the right set of stakeholders which will be involved in handling any of the workflows. So if we look at leaves itself, right, although the balances that we need to transfer to people, the accrual logics, the policies, the compliances, although all of that is somewhere a need of an organization or maybe HR department, right? But there are other stakeholders involved. There is an end user which is supposed to apply a leave, right? So, that was the week of marathon. We just did the mental marathon for a week, and we came to a conclusion that we want to, we just don't want to define or design a leave management system, because that can be run over in Excel, right? So what we can actually add value, where can we add value? So the idea was that we want to rechange or redefine the holidaying experience of the people in the organization. Now, how do we do that, right? So like almost everybody here is an employee, right? And if we look at any of the employees or even founders, right? They're also employees of the organization. Everybody plans their leaves, right? So, there are long weekends which are, a lot more easier for planning out holidays. There are festivals, right? So when we designed our technology, we started building these widgets from the very beginning, where we, the end users will have a very clear visibility in terms of when are the long weekends, right? Which of their teammates are unavailable at what point of time, right? So all of this actually gave them the ability to plan their leaves in an effective manner, and this is how we elevated that experience. So ever since, like it's almost 7 years, right? We have been constantly developing, and this is something which we keep at the center of our developments. Now, in terms of how technology helps in upliftment, right? So one important aspect, right? So one of the key functions that HR as a department runs in an organization is performance management, right? Now, performance management, although it looks like a niche exercise that happens into the organization every year, where managers will sit there with their employees, they'll figure out a mechanism to come to a common consent where we can raise people up. Right, so although the books were written very well, but implementing that as a concept is very difficult because of the things, right? People are busy with doing their own job functions. How do you make sure that they are able to, find time to understand the concepts of performance management and then also do their own appraisal in the first go? So, right, so this is where we came into play, right? So as we had all the employee database into our platform, the possibility was to create a performance framework which could operate on all the different verticals which are important for an employee. So if you look at our platform today, right, so from managing goals, from all the different kind of goal setting methods, be it SMART methodology, be it an OKR methodology, you will find all of that into the tool, which will help the end user set their goals in a smart manner. So if you're writing goals in Keka, you will be only, the employees will be able to feed it in a smart template itself. So these are, this is how we have been enabling all the different concepts. Like, let's say one big problem is the metrics are flowing from top to bottom, right? So as an organization, there's a vision, there is certain metrics that we plan to achieve for short period or for the aspirational period, like for 5 years. So all those metrics will have their eventual growth, and it needs to be constantly tracked, right? So the platform that we have designed, it's more of a dialogue where from employees to the managers, to the HODs, to all the other stakeholders that are there, they would have the right set of data available for them to take a strategic decision whenever it's required. So this is where, I think technology can, bring a change, right? So we have seen a lot of organizations adopting, like 7,000 organizations adopted to our platform in a period of 5 years. Now, so this is kind of a validation. Now the funding is another validation that we have got, and we look forward to building a lot more amazing technology in this space.
Yeah, thanks, Kshitij. You talk about performance management, then data. And HR people struggle with the data, right? Can you convert data into information? Raise your hand. Can you convert data into information, into knowledge? Now very less hand. Into predictive analysis? So this is how the flow goes. Data convert into information. We can go only up to information level actually. Then you convert into knowledge. Very, very less people can do that. And then more important is predictive analysis. Yeah. So please, in the boardroom, Bhanu sir, एक ही बात पूछी जाती है. Show me the data. Leadership CEO or your manager. If manager is also from HR, just asking, okay, show me the data. The asking for a data, I found one reason why people ask for a data, so that they get more time. You will not get the data easily. Neither you will get the data to give it to your boss. You will take almost 1 week. So your manager and people get a time for a 1 week. and everybody knows data is not correct. Then you get another 1 week to, fix it up. But yes, like he said, please use technology to ensure that data is always correct. But it's the kind of data you are going to feed in the technology, that's how the, output would be there. Yeah. Now let me come to audience. Let's pick up some question. Let's see what's there in their mind. Do we have extra mic? Okay, now who would like to ask the question? How many of from you business, managing a business, understanding a business? Some people raise the hand. I want them to ask the question now. Yes. Who want to be the first one? Yes. Madam want to ask the question? Yes, there. This side, this side. Yeah.
This one is on. Okay. Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Hansi Thakkar. I represent a company called SpaceTime Private Limited. We are basically a product and service-based organization. We are not a big organization. We are with a team size of around 65 people and having a parent company which is there in UK. And one of the biggest pharmaceutical provider called Church Pharmacy is our parent company which is there in UK, right? So why I gave my background of my organization is I wanted to have a discussion, or I wanted to know the input of you people, that as we are talking about HR being on a table, when we represent a company which is there into IT, you rightly said that starting after COVID, it was an era that people started giving a resignation. But that was also an era where a new concept of a work from home came. And during that point of time, the kind of offers or the kind of the job, were giving, the kind of the job which were given to the candidates, it was like ridiculous. Amount was not even matching up with the kind of experience with the candidate which they were having. So 2 years of a Java candidate that you told, right now they are at 25, and at that point of time as well, they were 25. But the hike that they got, that was from 10, 11, 9, somewhere around that. So the hike that they were getting, that was sometimes 100%, 120% even I have seen people taking. So from a company like us or any company, when HR is given a chance to be at a table and be there, then they are expecting us to maintain that as a part of the recruitment, as company is going to be into the expansion mode, as well as parallelly they would like our knowledge or they would like our contribution to manage the people who are already there. As well as parallelly, they would like to manage and they would like to have our contribution to give a appraisal or to give a kind of a upliftment to the current employees, right? So HR is supposed to handle this all thing together. And that is how our business logic or our understanding of a business is required. But in situation like this, most of my colleagues or most of my people will be facing such situation only. So what do you think? What would help us out to give our effective or sensible and the kind of inputs which will help us out to be on table and actually contribute towards the growth of organization, you know?
Yeah, got it. So in a situation, in a crisis situation, be it great resignation, great hiring, no increment, how HR should play the role? Who would like to take this? Yes, please.
So I think my friend here is overworked actually. Frankly, in Ahmedabad or Gujarat, you can say, I've seen single person in HR handling a company of 100, 150, 200 people. That is the problem. So within HR also, you need to build a team, right? Only then you can go to the board, right? So because HR's role gets restricted only to getting people, making people happy, like Bhanuji was saying, rangoli karwa di, poster making karwa diya, right? It becomes pertinent for us to also do a lot of, bring in structure, first of all, in HR, wherein you have clear-cut roles for talent acquisition, right? Onboarding, then talent experience or talent management, okay? Someone who does R&R performance, right? If those roles are cut out, then I think, it only makes sense for the organization to grow from 100 to 500, and also you won't be overburdened. So at this moment, you are overburdened because you are a one-man army, I think, right? And when that happens, आपको leave भी नहीं मिलेगी, छुट्टी भी नहीं मिलेगी, अरे HR चली गई तो चलेगा कैसे? So even if there are some founders here, I would say please do not be miser when it comes to building your HR team. Have good HR team right from the beginning because that will help you scale.
I'll just add to what Pawan said. And looking at your condition is, any business, startup or any at any level of the journey where the business is, business will have a strategy. And when there is a strategy available, there will be always be a strategy for HR. So if the business is 100 crores with 100 people, I'm just giving an example, it will always have an org design for HR also and for the business also. And if it is going to grow, it will have that design. Now I had been to Rambo Circus, so where all the players are there, but there is a joker available. He'll do everything. Now, sometimes people feel that joker is HR. He need to do everything. It's not possible. So I'll just give an example. When I used to be in boardroom, in communication in Mumbai, the CEO used to say, let's discuss sales figure and the revenue. And in some place, Jabalpur or any place, the sales is under, and the sales guy will say, we don't have salesperson there, and that's why it is under. And CEO used to look at me straight, saying why that person is not there. So if sales is not there, HR is responsible. So need to have that design in place. And as Pawan said, in every facet of HR, you need to have maturity model, startup, slowly mature, and go ahead in life. If you don't have that, you will be in trouble. And all IT organizations were in trouble 2020. There was great resignation, and at the same time, a lot of money people used to ask, double the CTC 100 times. People were giving it. You look at the IT all around, from TCS to Wipro to Persistent to HCL Tech, whatever name you take. There, if you look at the last quarter business reports, you will see the attrition numbers were high, and that's why their business margins were low. If you look at this quarter, the attrition has come down, and that's why the margins have gone up. If you're following IT properly in terms of quarterly revenues and margins that they are getting it. So the scenario is good, but one after another, something else will come up, and that org design has to be there. Business design has to be there. Without strategy, you just cannot go ahead. That's the take.
So, madam, full sympathy with you, first of all. Yeah, I know you must have gone through or maybe going through. That's one. I'd like to say three things. Please understand the market sentiment, the mindset of the market, which is talent driven. Okay, now situation is different. So still HR has to play the role. Gracefully exit HR need to handle now, right? Understand the mindset of the employer, what employer is looking for, and the culture of the companies. Yeah, if you do the match mixing of all this, then you can easily control the situation. Yeah, and another point, like how many of you can really do the business presentation in front of the client customer? That's where the capability will come. Great. Okay, we can have a few more questions. We can have two more questions. Yes, Parag. Can we give a mic to Parag? Yes, second row. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Parag. I'm from Tatvik Analytics. Sometime back, I think some of us must have experienced something called as ChatGPT from OpenAI. And I think it has already started creating a disruption in the market. People who are from the technology world, they know the kind of potential that this tool is having. My question to the panel is that looking at the potential of ChatGPT, what would you like to suggest to all these HR professionals to kind of prepared with?
You like to repeat the question?
Yeah, so looking at the potential, I don't know, if so we have Pawan, I think.
What he's asking is, there is a new AI tool in the market, most talked about which is ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT.
So with ChatGPT coming in, what are the challenges, or what would you advise the HR forum here on what should they be now focusing on?
Okay. Okay, that's a different kind of question. So yeah, business, you like to take it up? I don't know what is Chat GPT first of all.
So, for those who don't know what Chat GPT is, it's a tool where you ask question, they will give you a nice reply which looks like human, but it is automated. So, on a lighter note, maybe you should change human resource to AI resources. Uh, but on a serious note, I think, I mean, for human resource, human is the most important thing. No AI tool can actually ever replace the connection or the way humans can handle other human. So, I mean, we are having this event in person, and 2 years back, the thought was that all events will go online, everything will happen on Zoom, people will not meet each other, there will be no traveling, all airlines will shut down. And we have a company in Ahmedabad which raised a lot of money. I mean, I think about $150 million for doing online events. But 2 years down, we like, as humans, we like meeting each other, we like talking to each other, and not through Zoom, but in person. So I don't think Chat GPT is actually going to ever replace human resource. The connection which we can build as humans by meeting each other, by handshaking, by seeing each other is never going to go away.
Okay, great. But let's come to technology expert. Sir, Chat GPT क्या होता बताइए हमें.
Right, so it's a trained AI model, right, which kind of relates with the kind of question that you ask, breaks it down into smaller keywords, and then finds you a right set of answer. Now, we have a lot of revolutionary tech under production right now. Not we as a technology company, but technology in the world, right? Now, ChatGPT is one of it. We are looking at metaverse, right? So companies going bankrupt trying to build metaverse. So on all of this, I think, the first leg of any technology adoption begins with the end users itself, right? So look at it from a very neutral perspective, start using it, start seeing what are the utilities with it, and then eventually if the utilities evolve, you would be in sync with it. So I am the youngest of the panelists, right? So even, I have seen that generation of change, where constantly technology is upgrading. There is Symbian phones, there are smartphones, and now, if you look at it, there are flip phones and then screens which fold, right? So all these technologies will, we will keep on evolving it, right? And AI is another measure which will help us making, speeding this, right? So I think, it's a pretty useful tool to utilize, right? But again, there are side effects of technologies, right? We look at social media, we look at the kind of implications that it has on human personality today, right? The attention span of people have gone terribly low, right? So we used to, in our organization, used to write documents earlier, but now it is 30 seconds videos that we work on to communicate the information. So this entire change is happening because of the adoption of technology itself in the end user front. Right, so I think as long as you can enable yourselves using this, you should do that. But always keep a check, like where exactly is it harming you as well. And yeah, that is what I think on it.
Have you done, anybody has done AI course? Yeah, I will give it to you, sir. Has anybody done the AI course or taken a certification in AI? HR technology certification course? Sir, look at the room. And then we are talking about Chat GPT and all. So please go for some highly advanced technology certification course so that you get to know what is metaverse, what is AI. We keep reading all this, right? HR doesn't go for self-education. I appreciate software community, Ankit. These people, they go for a certification without asking anyone and come to HR and say, I have done a certification, now please reimburse. That happened, right? And we do the reimbursement as well. How many times you have done the course which is like HR analytics and say, okay, can you please reimburse? You go to your boss. Very few of us. So please go for education, yeah? Okay, great. We'll take one more question. You wanted to add something, sir?
From your hand only. Just wanted to add, at Ultratech we have ChatGPT. It's an AI tool where employees can ask policy-related questions, and the like Alexa or any other tool, they answer. So that role of HR has gone. So any policies, anything that you want to ask, you can ask, we call it Usha, and it is done. That's that.
HR will have one of the biggest challenge that how to make more human out of human. Yeah. Okay, we'll take one more question, then we'll come to our. Okay, two people raising hand. Sir, I will go to ladies first. Yes, because I promised diversity question should come from diversity. Yeah. Yes, madam.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Harita. I'm representing Zozoday, and we are integrated partners with KEKA in employee engagement and rewards and recognition. So I have a question for panel. Like, we talk about the business, of HR business and everything. But when it's time to assigning a budget for a HR team, why there is always a question mark? Like, it's HR team has always been, prioritized at the last. It's always budget allotted to the sales, marketing and everyone. And there the question arises, like, HR के पास budget ही नहीं होगा तो resources उनकी team में नहीं होंगे, then how they will bring up the new talents. There are so many LMS course and certification course for the HR, but when it comes to the budget, HR team is not having enough budget for same thing. So what is the say on this?
It's a very Sandy question. Who like to take? HR utilize the budget. HR has a budget. I don't know, sir. Over to you.
I'll just, we all answer and then pass it on. I still remember 2008, 2009 recession, and the budget for a lot of things was cut. And the first thing in HR was cut was training budget. But look at the change in the mindset of the business. This time when COVID was there were a lot of learning courses happening online. Two, lot of businesses, including people like Ashish also, had organized free webinars everywhere. Free sessions everywhere. The learning was available on the go, free. So it was not like that. The mindset has changed. Somebody has not influenced in your area, need to do that way. But the mindset has changed. Learning and technology budget. KEKA must be knowing more. How many people are coming to them from HR asking for the solution? So those type of things. If you go to all LMS solution companies, platform companies, the revenue has gone up. So budget is available with HR. Where you need to influence properly, it's available. That's the way I look at it.
Just add to that.
Yeah. Carry on. Yeah.
See, very important for HR, and that also makes it more important while having a seat on the table is showing the impact in two ways. Okay, one, nahi kiya to kya hoga? Right? What if this is not done or this was not done? And two, what value you add when you get it done? Right? These are the two ways in which you can influence HR budget. कि नहीं दोगे तो ये हो सकता है, your business at this moment is say 10 CR, it could grow to 12, but if you do it, it could grow to 15. So why be miserly when it comes to HR budget, right? So these are the ways I think in which you can influence your leadership team. That HR budget is important and crucial for the growth of the organization. Two, metrics are also very important. Show them what is the cost of the HR team versus the revenue year on year if you have data, or quarter on quarter, and show how increase in HR budget could also lead to increase in revenue or scale. So if you could present those data points, right, or insights, right? We talked about the data pyramid. It is data, information, knowledge, insights, and wisdom. Okay, so show those insights, present those insights. That would help you secure budget for your team.
So, yeah, very good point from both of you. HR became so rich department. Do you know nowadays? Because business coming to HR asking, can you please bring a good HRMS? Can you bring good LMS, good employee engagement tool? I want to spend money in good joining kit. Was it in our agenda, good joining kit? Today, per new joiner, we are spending how much? 500 to 1,000 bucks. Can you believe that? So this is HR budget actually, right? Even we are spending huge money when employee not coming back to office and we are giving a red carpet. I will give you goodies, please come to office. So to some extent I disagree. It's only the question, you need to increase your budget and please ensure utilize the budget. Finance follow very simple method. If you don't utilize, I will cut down your budget next year. So overspend the budget. Yeah, you like to add? Yeah.
To add to it, I think the entire energy of HR team is getting consumed in convincing team members to join. I mean, if you can just save some energy there and invest it on your ideal CEO, maybe you will be able to get that budget for your HR team.
See, only crybaby get the milk, huh? Please understand. Okay, Mohit will give a chance. Okay, then we'll come back to our panel format. Yeah. You like to add something? Yeah. Mohit, just hold on, yeah?
Right, so just a quick idea, if you want to optimize your budgets, KK is here for that. So please use that.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Mohit Gupta. I work as a director HR with Synoptech. It's a mid-sized IT services company. And my problem is, I think, it's everyone's problem. There is no alternative of money, right? We have very good culture. We have low attrition. But when it comes about resignation, if someone is thinking about resignation, he will say, sir, sab kuch acha hai, but paisa zyada mil raha hai, right? So what is the solution for it? I think everyone is thinking about it. And second question, I don't know how small companies will survive. Like mid-size or big-size companies, they can offer 2-year guy, 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 40 lakh as well. But I don't know what small companies are going to do and how they are going to maintain their gross margins. So one, what is the alternative for money? Second, how small companies are going to survive?
Mohit, just wait for 1 month. You will see market is going in a reverse direction.
That is true, Ashish, but the salaries which has gone to 20, 40 lakh, uska average 10% niche
They will start
I
getting
think
5
10 lakh
lakhs.
to nahi aayega.
They will start getting 5 lakhs and they will join in 3 lakhs even. Yeah, yeah, because if you really read the newspaper in last 2 to 3 weeks, most of you agree only the big company they announce officially.
Yeah, true.
And
That's
impact
true.
on the small company will be seen in next few months. Yeah, so just wait for some month, talent will be available at lower cost. You can hire as many as
ऐसी हवा फैलाते हैं हमने.
Another example, like to give a, the recruiter, IT recruiter. How many of you as a IT recruiter in this room? They were in so much demand, faster than software engineer. And today they are on bench. And sorry to say, but they are also losing a job. Recruitment is going to be hit in this scenario. Please switch over to HR in any other department. Okay, sir. So great. I think we have a good roundup conversation. Yeah, can somebody tell me how much time we have left? Accordingly, I will design what to do. Or we'll continue with the question? Right? Yeah? Okay, so let me ask you, Bhanu sir, work from home, somebody says hybrid and all. Please share your insight and, some wisdom that what are the challenges, our HR people face, when it comes to hybrid. I mean, time goes too much in convincing what to do, what not to do and all.
Ideally, I'm all around the world in terms of webinars, seminars, and all those things. So, giving a perspective, holistic perspective, all around the world as to what's happening around. One is 2020, and then we got into work from home. How many people like work from home here? Can raise the hand. Only one. So that shows people don't want to work from home. People want chai ki tapri, नीचे, ऊपर water cooler conversation, looking at the faces of people. Though you have to look at your boss also, you cannot avoid that once you've gone to office. The hybrid, for that matter, is going to stay. Percentage of hybrid, work from home and work from offices, that percentage will vary industry to industry, city to city, location to location. That's the way it is. There are, Elon Musk made a statement saying, come back fast. I cannot work without you people. So he was the first who started that. And everyone felt need to come back. However, the HR professionalism or HR, what do you say, the way HR has to demonstrate its capability has changed. From 2020, it has changed to a greater extent. How HR is agile and how HR can do a personalized services. Somebody is working from home, somebody is working from makeshift offices, somebody is in the offices, somebody is in the plant, somebody is traveling. So there are different types of roles that are there, and they are at different places. At the same time, in most of the company, 5 generations of people are working. How you cater to individualize, personalize HR, and that's where the technology comes in to your rescue. Without technology, giving a personalized, individualized HR is very difficult. You cannot in this world have a HR policy which fits for everyone. It's not, it's no. It cannot happen. So you need to have for different strata of people, different layers of people, a different HR policy. For talent, it has to be very different. So for this type of HR, which is going to be in the hybrid world, this hybrid is going to stay. Percentage may vary. COVID to ek baar aa gaya, something else will come. So it's going to come and go. There are ways, different things going to come and go. So how agile the HR is to look at different ways of working and giving the personalized experience and engagement to employee, that only will decide your place on the table and how you are adding value to that table. That's the way I look at it.
So I saw one person raising a hand when you asked for a work from home. Only one person, right? Anybody want to raise hand? More people now? It's only one person in this crowd. Now imagine you are dealing with a workforce which is demanding work from home. What would you do? Do you have work from home policy? Do you have policy on gig workforce? Do you know what is gig workforce? So these are the new avatar of HR which is taking place. So you can see the gap, one person saying only work from home, but rest of them just want to work from office. And today you see people not joining the company because you don't have work from home. So there is a different kind of perception taking place in the market. Let me ask question to both of you, like business guy and the technology guy. How the market is thinking, as far as challenges are concerned, how the founder, their thought process related to the market. You can touch upon little bit HR, but as far as current scenario is concerned, and as far as HR is concerned, leadership challenges, opportunities concerned, what are the thought process?
So as an organization, we have gone through the complete cycle. We were complete work from office before Corona. We went into Corona and I made a sweeping statement that we are never going to go back to office. Realized that we were around for the last 3 months. We have been trying to go back to office. So we started going to office from April, and then 2-3 months we thought we'll be hybrid, only 20 people will work from office. And now we are trying to get everyone back to office. So I think there's a big difference when we work from office or we work from home. A lot of ideation can actually happen when we are in office. I don't have to open my Slack and wait for people to come in. I can just see them, tell them. Notes are easier. I don't have to type things. So the movement of an organization becomes much faster in office then work from home. And he asked a question, what will we do when people ask work from home? Probably, or if everyone asks work from home, probably we'll give our HR a seat at the table and ask them to hire a completely new team. Yeah.
Just when the mic is just passing on, I'll add two data from Ultratech, this, and our leader speaking about it. When it was online meetings, we still have online meetings, the attendance is proper and on time. Otherwise, when it was physical meeting, ये आ रहा है, वो जा रहा है, ये चाय लेके आ रहा है, those type of things were happening. So that was very, very straight. And when there was work from home, look at the profitability of Ultratech Cement, the largest cement company in India. You will find how it was.
Right. So on this, I think the founders' want from the HR department has not evolved. Somewhere it was critical before, it is still critical. So to answer this, how would I want to answer this? Is what founders expect out of HR department or the HR leaders is to maintain the mission and vision of the organization, right? And how do you do that? Right, so it's a pretty wide thing, defining culture, missions, and visions of organization. All of that we achieve through alignment of people, right? So the alignment of people from top to bottom in terms of their purposes should be aligned, right? So the entire thing is like the vision that the founder has, the same vision needs to be transferred down. And I think, that is one important HR function, to lend that sense of purpose to every single individual out there in the organization, and to make them see that what value do they add, not just to the organization, but to themselves, or, actually the world out there, what is the true problem that we are trying to solve. So communicating this side, this essence into the organization and making, people more motivated to get that done, make that change to the world, is something which I think, is pretty critical, critically expected out of the HR department from the founders.
Okay, I'll take another 10 minutes, then we'll wind up. So, Dr. Pawan, question to you now. I was talking about the policies and all, right? Correct. HRS prepare, or if I say, Kshitij, you go to company and then first question, I'm sure, do you have HR policy in the place? HRMS company will always this question first. If you don't have, they will not implement, right?
That's a little different for us. So, as we have been operating in the space of SMEs and startups, right? So this is an innate capability that our team was able to develop. And that is one strong reason of our growth also. So all these startups, when they come, right? So somebody asked the question about the crunch of budgets, right? So the crunch of budgets, all of this is an organic thing, just like mentality silos inside the organizations is an organic process. In the same way, if you look at it, the budget allocation is an organic process as well. When the business is started, the business functions, the key business functions, the more critical, job functions which are there in the organization need more budgets, right? More attention. So most of the times, just because of that, by the time the criticality of HR department is realized into the organization, the kind of budgets have already been distributed as well. So keeping that in reference, right, I'd like to add few things here, right? So now, as we are a technology provider, what do we see, or what do we aspire to be? Right, so as an organization, we have always wanted to revolutionize the way organizations interact with their people. If you look at our surveys also, a very recent survey reflected that almost 80% of the employers think that if their candidate would be aware about the key challenges, responsibilities, and the outcomes that is expected out of them when they join the organization, they could increase the retention, in a very drastic manner. Now, so looking at all of this, it's all about communicating. It's all about transferring that expectations. It's all about aligning the aspirations of the organization with the aspiration of an individual, and making sure that there is a mutual growth path for both.
Great. So, Dr. Pawan, what are the prerequisites our HR people need to have when they think about, okay, let's drive the HR strategy through HR policy, processes, intervention? What are the skills you can think about or prerequisites?
Thank you. So, valid question, but Bhanuji has already answered that. I'm not sure if you're aware. What he's told was very deep, in fact. So, in organizations, what we are seeing is there are baby boomers, there is Gen X, there is Gen Y, there is Generation Z, right? So, post 2000, people born after 2000, right? They are joining the workforce. People born before 2000 are also there in the workforce. Now, when you're designing your policies, procedures, it may not cater, so it cannot be one size fit all. Okay. So what that means is we as HR folks need to think of agile HR policies and procedures also, right? Because what will cater to one may not cater to another. Second, when we're talking about diversity, right? Diversity is also in the workforce. So are your policies and procedures more inclusive in nature? Okay. Do they consider or equality of different genders, different or diverse, people belonging to, different regions of the country? As simple as a leave policy, right? So someone who is from South would want a holiday on an Ugadi. Ugadi, I'm not sure how many of you know Ugadi. But Ugadi is a festival, right? A New Year or a Pongal, for example, right? So as HR, we have to be inclusive when it comes to our policies and procedures. We have to be agile to cater to the, different and ever evolving needs and expectations of the workforce. And can we keep it flexible, right? Let the employees choose, right? There could be certain fixed leaves, for example. Let other leaves be chosen by the workforce, give them that flexibility. Okay, so I think just like we talk about the workforce in hybrid, policies also can be a mix of fixed and flexible, right? Uh, Another important thing, we talked about interventions or how HR can play a role. I'll tell you, when we talk about HR being a business person, what it truly means is not that HR has to be business, has to be business. Boardroom में कब मिलेगा, cap table में कब HR आएगा, etc. It has to be not only understanding the business, but as simple as what we've done at Vinculum is, are you able to demo the product? We are a SaaS product company. I as HR, am I able to demo the product? Product demo aata hai ki nahi? So that is where it all begins, right? So you may be in different companies, but do you know the product? Are you able to demo the product? Can you go to a sales pitch and do the sales, right? Are you meeting the customers, right? So customer success ka role is not just customer success team ka. You as HR have to now move out of the offices, meet the customers, meet people, go to meetings, right? Even investors, for example. That is where we get visibility. Okay, so I think that's one.
Yeah, and whenever we want policy, what do? We send a message on WhatsApp group. That's the reality, huh? Can you please share the policy? Some people, they share the policy also.
So now smart HRMS tools are having chatbots, right? Just like chat GPT we spoke about. But I think Keka also has a smart chatbot wherein you can just type, hey, when is my next, holiday? It will simply pop up, right? So smart tools are coming wherein the mundane HR tasks will go. HR will no longer be a postman. ठीक है, postman का मतलब यहाँ का वहाँ का यहाँ, right? You have to be strategic in your mindset and in the way you behave and the way you deliver.
Yeah. So please go to WhatsApp group and ask for a policies. Right, we'll take 2 questions and then we'll wind up because then we have something else also. Okay, 2 questions. Please raise your hand. Okay, we'll go to that madam. And before she said, sometimes I wonder, HR want to do everything other than HR, huh? Think about it. Let's do HR first. As a HR, then, if HR does everything, then what business will do? Okay, yes.
Okay. Hi, very good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So very good evening, everyone. So myself, Dimple. I'm working as senior HR in Bosch Tech Labs, Gandhinagar. Okay. Why I'm representing, and I have 2 questions in my mind about the things that each and every HR being in human, what our roles are. Actually, we are working for humans, right? empowering humans is the main responsibility we are having. As a human, it is my responsibility to take the concerns of the humans that we are working with, we are hiring, and we are, going to work in future also. These are the assets we are going to work in future, right? So what I am having question is all about the mental stress. Right now, in each and every field, we are having stress. If I'm going to take the point of the management, they are also having stress related to the projects and the deadlines. If I'm taking my point, HR, being an HR, I do have something in my mind, so many other things. Policies are not followed or something related to that. Being an employee, so many other things. Policy, this is the harsh policy, why I'm going to handle it out, how I'm going to handle it. Like these are the things each and every person is having. Sometimes it is like they are having some personal problems also, right? So I want to know what are the things being in management, being in HR, we can do for each and of the, each of the human that is working with us. Being a people management person, what are the things we can do for them in order to just maintain the level of stress. We cannot reduce the stress. We cannot totally, completely, neglect the stress also. So what we can do to manage the stress, they can work, they can enjoy the work, because as of now, what we can see, people are coming just for earning. Some people are earning, coming for learning also. But what I have seen so far is like they are coming here just to do the work, getting paid, and just leave. So how we are going to manage their stress in their personal lives? We cannot go to their home, right? But some things we can do in the office or the work premises. What are the things? Can you give me some solution for this?
Got it, yeah. So I think message is coming that, how to make workplace happy and engaged, right? Correct? In a simple word, right? Okay, who like to take the question now? Yes, business.
So I think it's all, the answer is vision. If the HR team, I'll keep the answer short, if the HR team can communicate the organization's vision to the entire, all team members, I think the stress will actually convert and will become more of enjoyment than staying as stress. So it is going to be a vision which is going to thread together all the team members.
Right, I think, stress is, I like to quote Sadhguru here, right? So, right, so if you look at it, like it's a capability of us own, right? How does it happen? It's very simple, right? There are things which are not clear to us, unpredictability is there, and which creates a sense of fear inside us, and that leads to stress, right? So to an extent, what HRs can do on it, right? So HRs actually have a very critical role to do, right? So as Ankit was saying, it's very important to align people's purposes, so their aspirations. So once, people who have a sense of purpose, usually, those people would be driven, self-motivated, and, would do some great work out there, because, they basically have solved these little human problems that we face now and then. So it is our responsibility as HR professionals to constantly do these one-to-one sessions, right? To build our managerial framework in a manner that they are constantly consulting their employees in terms of what's happening with them, right? The managers on a constant basis need to talk to their employees and understand, right? Like what is their aspiration? There has to be one strong reason to come to office every day, right? Like otherwise it will become boring and then you'll look for something else entirely. So that is why, all of this is becoming a lot more critical now, because, like if I look here, India now is almost a developed country, right? Because in my definition, I think a developed nation is nothing but a developed business ecosystem, right? So with technology driving the show now, and with such smart knowledge available to everybody across the business ecosystems, we are eventually heading there. And right, so I think it's eventually going to get better. So it's important that we develop all the important frameworks within the organization. Now, if you look at from an employee perspective, they need to, we need to provide them the goals, the KRAs, the KPIs, or, the objectives or key results that they need to work on, right? That actually solves a lot of problem for them. Along with that, if you are able to define the career path for them, right, where they have a incremental plan of learning new skills, or succession planning is another way to answer these things, right? So if you are able to make it more engaging for the employees themselves to work in the ecosystem, I think the business is bound to grow, right? And I think technology has a very strong role to play in terms of aligning people with this.
So I like to say three things. Please understand which kind of employee you want as per the employer. Do, do you want happy employee, happy workforce? Do you want engaged employee, engaged workforce? Or do you want productive employee, productive workforce? The day you understand this, then you can play around your game. Okay? Great. So I want to have a now closing remark from each one of you. Yeah? You start from Dr. Pawan.
I think it was an insightful session, and a lot of questions actually, tell the ground realities of what we as HR face. Okay, when you ask questions, we relate to everyday situations or challenges that are faced by us. So yes, it is easier said than done, I would say, right? It is difficult, and some time back, when I started my career in HR, I wrote, who motivates HR? HR को कौन motivate करेगा? HR सबको motivate करता फिरता है, but who will motivate HR, right? So I think challenges are there, but we as HR have to be the face of the organization. It is like when you go to your house, right? Whatever stress is there, सब भूल के you are very nice to your parents, to your kids, right? HR has to be like that. Whatever stress you have, employees के सामने, you still have to, maintain that everything is good. It's going to be amazing, and let's stay focused. HR needs to understand business, like I said, has to be a genuine business partner to have a table or, gain place on the cap table or in the boardroom. Unless you do that, it won't happen. Understand the challenges that each of your people face, right? So HR का काम करने के लिए लोगों के साथ और लोगों की परेशानियां समझना बहुत important है, right? Unless you genuinely know what their challenges are, right, you will not be able to address, right? So thank you so much. I wish you all HR people amazing career in HR. Thank you. Thank you, Team KK, and thank you, Ashish and the panel here.
So as the CEO of, so we have 150 people in the team. And as the CEO, I can tell you that without the HR team, I will probably shut down the company and move to the Himalaya. So I think the HR team and the HR people already has a seat at the table. And it's only that some organizations have not realized it yet, but they are going to realize it in the next coming days, coming months or years. So yeah, that's my closing remark. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Keka. Thank you, Ashish, for invite, and thank you all for listening patiently. To advise, at my age, I can do that, with your permission. This I used to tell my colleagues half of the time in the communication when they used to come walk through that big Reliance office, and it's too huge. To an extent, it looks like Singapore. And when somebody is walking around, my colleague used to walk around, we used to have a headphone plugged in his ears, and he used to listen to music while he's talking and walking. So I used to tell him, Bhagwan ne tumko 5 senses diye. Till the time all 5 senses are open in sensing, you will not have 6th sense. So if you lock one of the sense, 6th sense will not come. And today's time, the most important thing is to have a focus. If somebody focuses for 10 minutes on something, hats off, I'll give him a gift.
It's too difficult. You must have not seen my mobile giving me any notification, any calls coming in. So that's the way I look at it. Ting, 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 nahi basta. And I don't get messages. It's no notification. Very focused. That will help. And one of my boss, excellent CHRO, he gave me one gyan. Whenever I used to go to MD, he used to tell me, go to your room, spend 5 minutes on your table, write down what you're going to discuss with him. Also write down probable questions that he's going to ask you. You will be prepared and then you can give answers. That increases your value, and then the MD, CEO will call you again and again and you will be on table. That's important. 2 messages from myself.
Right, so as a message, what I would like to communicate with all of you is, it is very important to look, the perspective of technology, what we see in our, as we see it in our organization, we need to look at it right. So in my experience over the last decade of providing technology to people, I have realized that most of the technological implementations, they fail because of the people readiness itself. It's not the product most of the times. So it is very important to always check the technology or the product that you choose in terms of the adoption standpoint, right? And adoption is not a rocket science. It's very simple. If your tool is intuitive enough, and if it is, like let's say if I take an example, Instagram, right? We all use Instagram, and for posting something in Instagram, if we really have to do couple of minutes of effort to reach that point, nobody will ever do a post, right? So it's very important to look at technology from all these standpoints as well, rather than just the workflows. Also look at the utilization and the kind of experience that it will provide to your people. So that is the message that I would like to convey.
Sorry, I was really impressed with what Kshitij said, and I would like to add one sentence. Every future business is going to be business of technology. Without technology, no business is going to be there. So if you are not learning technology, thank you.
And every company is IT company, please understand. You are software engineer. Okay, and Kshitij and Bhanu sir, I'm not sure, or maybe, this may be true, that tomorrow if employee is leaving a company, they will be leaving a company because of the technology. Huh? Today, like we say, people are leaving a company because of the people. Yeah, so please make sure your technology should be strong enough to retain, first. Invest in technology, invest in yourself. Couple of more gyan, that being resourceful, always on time, in every stage of life, whether personal or professional. If you are not, then, somebody will be ahead of yours. People keep saying, HR people and business people, that HR should know the business. I would put it like this, that make your business as a HR. Then you think about anything else. Okay? So thank you so much, all the panelists, Dr. Pawan, Ankit, Bhanu sir, and Kshitij. Yeah, and great audience. We had a great time.